up, everybody?
What's
It's
up?
another episode of the NFC East show. And we did have all four people here just a few seconds ago, and then we got a little buffering going on here. So I'm gonna just remove him for a moment.
Come back.
Exactly. So, anyways, we had a very interesting week 3, happening. And a lot went on in the NFL.
Yeah, only one person is smiling, as you can tell. Only one person is smiling right now, as you can tell.
Is the guy that was on ESPN, I guess, and is all over everybody's ESPN feed right now. I tell you, I won't even, before we get into any of that, because there was a lot of other news that happened around the NFL that I feel like I want to talk about really quickly, because, like I said, it's too much not news to talk about. First off, I mean, should we congratulate Travis Kelce for having a girlfriend who is?
I'm going to be honest, and look, I could care less.
Me too.
I honestly care. They were talking about it all on ESPN or Sports Center. They were talking all about it on Good Morning Football. I'm like, can we not? I mean, there's other things to talk about, because, God forbid, I hope everything works out great. I really do hope they get married. I don't want him to become an album. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that album either. I mean, I'm not a big fan of, I you know what? I won't say that. I don't really know a
fan or not. I'm just like,
so much so I'm not even going to say a dang thing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so then Pork Rind, would you like to weigh in on the new royal couple of the NFL?
Royal couple.
No.
No, you got nothing to add. You're not a Swiftie.
I'm not a Swiftie. Sorry, my daughter loves Taylor Swift, but
my girls too. And
so you're a Swiftie by proxy.
I am not.
You are a Swiftie by proxy.
No,
you probably know more of her music than I do.
I definitely don't.
I barely know enough myself.
Definitely don't.
All right. Well, so we've wasted already 4 minutes of time on that. And so we'll move on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about.
It was a minute and 30 seconds. I counted. But go ahead.
70 points. 70 points.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
What is going on today?
Hey. I actually like Mike McDaniel, or what's his name? Mike McDaniels. I like his mentality.
I do. Yep. I agree. Me too.
Put your foot on their throat and don't let up. So
I actually like the guy. I like his philosophy.
I do too. And you know what?
I mean, it's like a mad genius. Like a mad hatter.
You know what? He was part of our coaching staff at one point.
Oh, no shit.
Yep.
He's like he was Denver's ball boy. Denver's ball boy.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah.
So talk about a rise to the fame here. Anyways,
I'll say
like
this.
At 70 points, though, I mean, it hasn't been done since the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, and the Bears. The Bears
in 1966.
Yeah,
and I think actually the most yards was from the Rams on the 99 team. So the most yardage ever by a team was like 740 yards, or they were close to it. They were 723, and I knew that they had an opportunity they were getting close to it, but then they lost yardage. They weren't really going for the jugular.
So they were actually showing some stuff about how Sean Payton basically said that Teddy Bridgewater was better than Tua, and that he can see in the future how there'll be a quarterback change. And he said, not due to injury, but I could see it a multiple quarterback system. And then let's go back to where Sean Payton had the nerve and I get he was trying to show support for Russell by putting down the head coach or the last name, coordinator for the Jets now. But talk about poetic justice.
Oh yeah,
Like I know you guys haven't because I haven't seen. So when I saw that running back, the backup running back,
Over
the
200 yards.
second team offense running for another touchdown to make it 70-20.
Yeah.
It was 70-13 that time.
Right.
I was like, I've never seen this in my life.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I mean,
And it makes me
seeing it, but
and it makes me wonder, like, did they just quit on the team? Did they literally just quit? Did the whole team just give it, throw it up, or was Miami just doing things that right?
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, Miami, because I had the NFL ticket, and I'm watching the Miami Broncos game, and Tyreek Hill went off.
Yeah.
And the running back. I mean, I think they both scored 4 touchdowns. Did they score 4? I don't know, but I know both of them went off. And again, they were showing replays of the type of offense that this coach is putting on the field. It's freaking genius how they have Tyreek Hill in space, and where Tua, now let's keep in mind, they're trying to get rid of the ball quicker, get it out of Tua's hands quicker than last year, so they don't risk injury. And his philosophy of that quick release, it's just genius what they're doing. And I'm really curious on where this is going to put them in the AFC race. I'm totally excited.
Well, I me personally, again, you can't win the Super Bowl in week 3. And if this was like a revenge game for him to be able to do that and throw that many points on him, then God bless him. You know what I mean? If that's what he wanted to stick it to them as best as possible, because that's his favorite team, I get it. Mad in the score. Other than that, I wonder if they're peaking now. They got a lot of weapons on that team, but it makes me think that, when you're clicking on all cylinders now, there's usually a hiccup that's coming.
There.
As
something.
My buddy next to me might actually say, was a possibility from this Sunday, because I want to start. I want to start with the very biggest surprise. We have to start with you guys. We do have to start with you guys. True, what happened?
Execution. Defense just gave it up, and offense wasn't striking. But I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. 28 points. You give up 2 rushing touchdowns the way they did, long ones. Not one long one, but the execution, the containment. Dan Quinn got outsmarted this game. I mean, it was plain to see. Vander Esch, all these guys, including. Well, it was Micah Parsons included. I'm going to say this: they weren't staying in their lanes. They were over pursuing. You can see every play. It was a design play to get these guys to over pursue, and that's exactly what they did. They did not stay in their lanes. You can't do that in this sport. These guys are too quick, too fast, and one slip, that's all it takes, and that's what happened. On the offensive side of the ball, we're in the red zone. 1 for 5. It's not feasible in this league.
No, I agree with you there. I hope we didn't lose you again in the middle of that.
Yeah, if I can add to that, the run defense was non-existent. I know Diggs is a big part of you guys' defense, but he's not the heart. In my opinion, I thought it was Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And speaking of Vander Esch, there, and I was trying to find the group, but it's I call them Spit Can, whatever, but I can't remember their name. They're big Dallas Cowboy fans, and they did a piece because he's a fan of Vander Esch, and they showed the piece and the lack of effort that he had pursuing the tackle. And I give him kudos on that. Now, to be fair, yes, I enjoyed every minute of it. And
didn't you stay an extra week just so that way you could watch them?
No, I didn't stay. I didn't enjoy it. I stayed home. I wish, but Now I would have went to San Francisco if I could.
Yeah.
No, but at the end of the day, when I saw that, I'm like, wow. And I still thought that the Cardinals were not going to finish. I thought it was going to be, a part 2 of the Giants Cardinals game, that you guys were going to come back and it was going to be this massive comeback story. And I'd never hear it from the end of Dallas Cowboy fans. But when Dak threw that interception in the end zone, I'm like, oh, the Dak haters are going to love this.
Oh, yeah.
And
how much?
and
I want to go back a little bit because I know, Sneaky, you love to talk all the time.
Of course.
How bad is Diggs? I kind of felt like he was maybe the vocal leader on that defense, but I don't know because I'm not really privy to that. Was he the vocal leader of that defense? Because I felt like after this game, the finger pointing started.
He was. I mean, well, it was just an array of things. Going back to, Diggs is vocal, but he's not. From my seeing and understanding, he's not the big dog on the campus. I mean, on as far as speaking and pumping the guys up. On the sidelines, yes. On the field, not so much. It's Micah Parsons, Van Der Esch, D-Law. It's those guys. And when you would see him come to the sideline, Micah Parsons was jumping him. And you can see everything. They had every excuse in the book, but the biggest excuse should have been Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn should have made adjustments before halftime, and he didn't. He didn't make any adjustments. All he had to do was 4 rush, keep his linebackers back, keep his defensive backs guys, just stay put. But they kept over pursuing. I mean, you can see it all game, over pursuit, getting out of their lanes. Just it was getting very frustrating seeing it in person the way they were doing it, and the tackles that were missed. I mean, when you have yards after contact, that's just, it's not good, and especially the running backs. I mean, I'm going to tell you the thing that got me triggered the most was the penalties. You can't have 100+ yards in penalties, dumb penalties. It's 4th and they're going for a field goal, and you give them the opportunity. It was 4th and 4, and they go for the field goal, and you jump off sides and you give them an automatic first down. Now, regardless, they still made the field goal 4 plays, but you just ate up 3 minutes of the clock before the halftime.
Yep. You
can't do that in this league. And I mean, you can see the special teams coach, while he might have been agitated himself, it's all about the coaching. And I just didn't see any. I did not see any all the way around from the head coach on down. The play calling was horrible.
So you were talking about penalties, right? To be fair, there was a lot of ticky-tack calls this week in football.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't. Yeah, I know. Of course, there's only 2 that I know that I could think of for the Giants game. That pass interference on your game that should have been pass interference. Yeah. Well, I can only remember the one. I mean, Pork Rind, I don't know about your game.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter for Pork Rind. So.
I was gonna say, but I know that the 2 calls for us, and I know we haven't got to the Giants yet. I mean, it cost us 2 touchdowns by far.
Oh yeah, same here. We had 2 pass interference in the end zone. One on Lamb, and the other was on Gallup, and they were both defensive backs, not even looking towards the ball, pushing the receiver before the ball got there. And again, I'm not going to make excuses and blame the penalties not being called, but you're talking about 2 red zones that just got me 6 points in total.
It turns the tide of the game.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Those are big time calls that either need to be made or not penalties at all.
Yeah, and there was another horrible decision in that game when we were down there in the red zone and we decided to go on it on 4th down. Instead of taking the 3 points and making it a 1-score game, you went for it on 4th down, got nowhere. and now we're out by 11 points. So, I mean, that also was big. Even though it was the first half, it was just, okay, what are we doing here, guys? If we're not executing in the red zone, what are we going to be doing down the field? And you can see the ball was moving. We were able to move the ball. It was just the play selection, the play calling that got when we're in the red zone that just didn't make any sense. It did not make any sense. The running backs that were in there during
becoming a recurring problem.
The wide receiver sets. Well, I'm going to tell you one of my biggest problems that I saw this week was my tight ends. They could not catch the ball. They could not run their routes correctly. They were over, trying. It just didn't make any sense. And then I'm sitting here getting all, I'm hearing from the folks behind me that are Cowboys fans. Well, we should have just paid Dalton. Yeah, you're right. We should have paid him. But here's the thing. We have the guys on the field right now. There's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
Stop throwing them the ball for one.
Yeah.
There's no security blanket out there. Yeah, you got to stop throwing them the ball.
We
I
talked
understand
about this.
they're wide open, but you know what? They got to earn your respect.
We talked about this. I told you. I said I like Schultz. I think Schultz is worth it, and you guys said no. That's why they pay you guys the big bucks over there in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he go to Houston?
I'm not sure where he went.
Yeah, he went to Houston.
That?
He went to Houston.
Yeah, he's in Houston.
He went to Houston.
Far, but that being said,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got a monster. I mean, because I look at that as a really big loss for you guys, obviously, in a lot of different ways. And this could start, like I said, it sounded like there was a lot of finger pointing at the end. And my wonder is like, I know we'll talk about the game coming up this week, but this is a monster week. This is like a must win for you guys, because I feel like if you guys were to lose this weekend, and I don't even know who you're playing, but if you guys lose this weekend, you guys might lose the season. Everything that I keep talking about, how I feel that this team's going to implode, is going to start to occur. And I think it already started with that interception in the end zone. I feel like that the defense went back out there and was just they were just not interested anymore.
No, they weren't interested. You can see that they just wanted to get off the field. They wanted that game to be over. But here's a bigger one. You and Sneaky know, because you guys have already played there. You with the Eagles last year in the Super Bowl, Sneaky last week. I'm going to tell you what. I don't care what anyone says about natural and artificial grass. Those field conditions on that for both teams, and I'm not just saying one team, they need to do something about that natural grass that they're using out there. It is the most ridiculous thing. You slip every 2 seconds. The referees were slipping. Everybody was slipping. And you've got the NFLPA saying we want natural grass. There's got to be a standard. I don't understand how you can be in today's NFL and not have a natural turf that is slip. Yeah, I understand we're going to slip, but the conditions of that field are just horrible. That was just another thing you can see all the way around from both sides of the fence, from the Cardinal side to the Cowboy side. You can see everybody losing their footwork, just like they did in last year's Super Bowl, just like New York faced last week, and we did again this week. So somebody needs to do something about that, because when you go to Tampa, the conditions aren't that bad on the field. They weren't slipping that much, even when the rain. But you get over, even in Washington, you're not slipping that bad. But here, I don't know, man. Arizona and the Raiders have that same scenario, the same type of grass, the same type of field, because they're moving it outdoors, indoors. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense.
But that's natural grass, though, ain't it? In Arizona,
it is.
Yeah, but it's on a tray.
Yeah,
so it's like it's just like turf.
Yeah.
Because it looked real. I love. That stadium's beautiful. That's the first time I've been there. That's a gorgeous stadium. Did
you see the Tillman statue?
I did.
Yeah,
and I paid my respects, and that it was kind of. It's funny being that it was kind of surreal. It kind of brought everything. in perspective, in a military type aspect of
Yeah.
it. What he gave up and
Yep.
what he sacrificed.
Right.
But where
So
we going?
yeah, like I said,
Yeah,
I
and
think that there's a lot
and
more to answer for you guys this week. Moving on, let's go to the first game of the
there
week.
definitely is. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just trying to get everybody in here. So, because you guys got a lot of questions to answer, and we'll start talking about that when we talk about the games coming up. But the first game of the week, Sneaky G. Again, what happened?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What happened? We didn't have Saquon. We didn't have an offensive line. Bellinger missed an assignment that caused Bosa to get a nice sack on Daniel. I mean, look, we weren't prepared. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say this. Our defense out of the last 3 games, we're allowing an average of 32.6 points a game. I don't give a damn what kind of offense we have, but to give up roughly 33 points a game, we're not going to win games if that's our goal, if that's our standard. And I mean, it's just we're not tackling. I don't want to say they're not giving up. They're not giving effort, but I don't know. I'm lost for words right now. And offensively, look, we have our issues, right? Barkley wasn't there. I think our rushing total was 29 yards for the whole game. Jones, threw the ball. So I mean, and everybody's trying to put it on Jones. That's not fair. That's not fair to him. Now, did he mess up on that Waller pass at the end? Yes. But if Waller would have caught that, would we have came back from a 30-point or 20-point deficit? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'd have been more respectable. But hopefully this, we got Monday. Barkley is day to day. I'm hearing Thomas is back. Our offensive line should be at full strength. I mean, I am disappointed because of because of what I saw last year. You have these high expectations, and I think making the playoffs is not a high expectation. That should be the standard, and that's what I was hoping for this season. Granted, it's only 3 games, right? We pull it off in Seattle, 2-2. We're back in the hunt, but we just 33 points a game out of the last. I mean, that's just mind-blowing.
Well, you're not going to win many games.
No,
because your offense is not set up to score 34.
No, that's exactly. And it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating.
What do you think about? I mean, is he starting to maybe lose the locker room? I mean, because this is
Dable.
Yeah. Is that like?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I just think it's, there's a lot of players that are on their contract years that you would think would step up, and they're not stepping up. And matter of fact, I mean, I could just talk about McKinney real quick. He's been posterized at least once in every game. He got ran over in Dallas for a touchdown. He got ran over in Phoenix, and then he got again tackled in the end zone, or not tackled. He tackled for a first down. 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 15. We weren't getting off the field. Oh, I could. Our time of possession was just horrible. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Well, and that's what they do. I mean, obviously, the 49ers have a pretty good team. They're another team that I feel like are they're maybe in mid-season form or late season form already. I think this is exactly what the 49ers are. The defense is really strong, and you got to score points on them. You can't take field goals as your answer there.
Exactly.
And I mean, right now, I guess it's got to be tough because you're looking at Jones being the guy who just got paid all this money. And I know it's only for 2 years, but it's it's a big deal, because you're stuck with him for 2 years, unless you can figure out a trade to maybe trade him across the locker rooms. Send him over to the Jets.
But yeah, again, it's not all Jones. I mean, I'll defend Jones until I actually see it. So I actually got the box scores pulled up. 9 out of 16 attempts in the third down mark, they made it 9 times. I mean, and then the time of possession, 39 minutes for San Francisco.
Yep.
And that'll
kill you every time. When they got it 2/3 of the time, you ain't gonna win. And
again, 11 attempts for 29 yards and a touchdown rushing. We need Barkley. We just need to be healthy.
You think Barkley's going to make the difference? I mean, is Barkley really going to make this difference?
I believe so. And the type of person he brings on the type of player that he is on the field, it helps Jones. I mean, it's evident in Arizona. That's how we got our first touchdown. Jones faked it to Barkley, and he was able to do a naked bootleg in the end zone. And then on the other side, Barkley scored 2 touchdowns, a rushing and a receiving. So yeah, he is that guy. He is him. We need him on the field. I believe he is the difference maker.
So ultimately, I mean, because they're going to have to figure out what to do with him in terms of this season, and do you think that he's going to, the fact that he got hurt, and he was so angry about getting hurt the last time, at what point do you think he may check out and say, you know what? I'm not going to get myself hurt here.
Well, to be fair, from what I'm hearing, at the least, he'll probably get tagged again, at the least, if they don't come up with a long-term deal. And I could be wrong. Things could change.
That would really put a strain on you, because you would then have what? Because you would have to be the number 1 paid running back in the league in that case, and he would probably be making in the neighborhood of about 20 million.
A little bit more than Christian McCaffrey money. And
so
again,
what? So like 18 million.
That's what he makes about 16 a year, so they could probably get away with 16 million and $1. Okay, that'd make him the highest paid. And I'm just being facetious, but at the same time, he is valuable to the team. And in my understanding of Barkley and where he is, he's running mad. He's running pissed off because of the value of the running backs. And that's why he almost came back to play Thursday night against San Francisco. But they held him back for this weekend in Seattle and at home. So, I mean, we'll see. Right now, he's day-to-day. We'll see for sure by the end of the week. I had somebody at work ask me about that. He's like, "Oh, he's on my fantasy team." No shit, he's on mine too. I need to know as well.
Right.
Speaking of that, you all know we do have a league going on, right?
Oh, am I winning?
Yeah, actually, you are 3-0 right now.
That makes me 6-0. I won't even talk about that.
Y'all might want to go ahead and check your leagues where you're at.
We didn't draft.
It for some reason it auto draft.
I think we should just let it auto league.
Yeah, just auto league. See what happens.
I'm making changes.
All right. Well, you can make whatever changes you need, but so far I've beaten you all.
Yeah, I think you did beat me week 1, by the way. And I am the defending champ. Just want to let you know the champ is here. But seriously, I'm disappointed because I had my hopes up of the momentum that we had last year, and we're not living in that same expectation. Do I think Dable's losing the locker room? Look, losing don't solve anything. Losing creates problems, but once you start winning, those problems dissipate, whatever that word is. So hopefully we'll get on the right track and change the tide.
And not to dissipate.
Capacitate. Yes.
I know that ain't the right word that you're trying to say.
That's not. But that's what I'm going with. Ebonics is a bitch. That's all I'm going to
say. Hey, what's his name? Even said something wrong.
Oh yeah, camaraderie.
Yeah, camaraderie.
We got good camaraderie, guys.
So we're down to the other game that happened this weekend. That was on a Sunday. and pork rind.
What's up?
What happened?
So, I mean, the final score obviously doesn't. I mean, going into the fourth quarter, it was 16-0. And then it just went downhill from there.
You said it to defeat him.
It just went downhill from there. I mean, we just kept on shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, we had, I think it was 4 red zones, and what do we have? Is it 4 red zones? No, we only had two red zone attempts, and I mean, we're 0 for 2. We got the ball all the way down to the 1, couldn't punch it in. You know, I really felt like they should have ran it on 1st and goal, and instead they passed it. And then from there, I mean, I think we ended up running it on 3rd and 4th. You know, Sam Howell was sacked, I think, 9 times. I mean, he's on pace for 107 being sacked 107 times.
And I hate to add insult to injury. I had Buffalo's defense.
Oh,
I had 32 points.
Oh yeah,
and they were projected only 9, less than 10.
They scored some points. Let me tell you. I mean, they had 4 interceptions, 9 sacks, a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, I mean, you know, the offensive line now, were all those sacks on the offensive line? Now I'd probably say about half of them were. I think the other half was Sam Howell holding the ball a little too long. You know, on that where we ran the ball on 4th and 1 and got stopped. I think it was 2nd down. He had a receiver wide open on the 1 and just didn't get the time to see him because, you know, offensive line wasn't blocking. I think he ended up running the ball and got tackled on the 1. But, I mean, I like Sam Howell. I think, you know, he's definitely going to learn from this. He's a very mature young man. I think he's he's only 4 games in. And this was his first game where he looked like a rookie. And, I mean, you're playing a Bills defense. Bills have a great team. So, and it's scary because, you know, those Bulldogs on that Eagles line are probably looking at their chops right now. You know, I mean, I'm scared for him, to be honest with you, the way the offensive line was playing for him. So, you know, hopefully EB makes some adjustments and does some things to, you know, get the ball out of his hands a little bit faster, maybe some slants, some screens, and just kind of set a rhythm for him. You know, I mean, we only ran the ball, I think it was 13 times. I mean, you got to get that run game started, man. And, yeah, I mean, our defense, you know, 2 years ago, we were the worst against the 3rd down. And last year we improved, and I felt like this year we're going back in that direction. I think they were 9 for 15 on 3rd downs. And there was a lot of 3rd and longs, and we just basically leave the middle of the field wide open for Josh Allen just to run down and get the first down. It was frustrating. It was like they didn't have a linebacker spying on them or anything. But, you know, like I said, going into the fourth quarter, we were down 16-0. We had some drives where I felt like we should have scored and it could have been a lot closer. And who knows, maybe it would have gave Sam some confidence. But, you know, throwing 4 picks and one of them being returned. I mean, I think 3 out of the 4 picks were on Bill's side of the, you know, on the Bill's side of the field. So, you know, it's frustrating, but, you know, he's 4 games in. Hopefully he learned from it and, you know, he'll get better. I mean, hopefully by the end of the season, it'll be a much different take on him.
Well, here's the other news that actually may make you smile or happy a little bit. The Washington Commanders are being sued by the Native American Guardians Association, which has been trying to get the Commanders to change the name back to Redskins. The logo on the Redskins helmet is an actual person. It's Chief Whitecalf. Every time they go out on that field, they were honoring Chief Whitecalf, and they were battling on the football field with the same honor and integrity and courage that should continue to honor that.
That is awesome.
You know, a lot of us have been saying that for so long, but with everything going on in society and it just we didn't feel like that was going to once they changed it, we didn't feel like it was going to ever go back. And I mean, they've already come out and said it's not going to go back, but I'm got my fingers crossed and hoping it happens. We'll see.
I mean, there's always drama that comes around the Redskins or the Commanders or the Washington team.
And that's the thing that frustrates me the most is like we got rid of the problem. And I just feel like
what was the problem, Pork Ryan?
I think those hidden cameras in the cheerleaders' rooms were really the.
I think so. Yeah.
Danny Boy might have been the problem, but it's so frustrating, man. It's like I really like the new ownership group. I like a lot of things that they've already accomplished, and I mean, they're really listening to the fans, and they're trying to make the changes. They made $200 million investment into the stadium. This surround sound is a hell of a lot better. The new scoreboards that they put up, they look nicer. And I mean, they've done some really nice things, like as far as the new intro. I mean, they've done a lot of really nice things. I mean, even our season ticket member gift was pretty nice. I mean, and it's not like the Las Vegas Raiders nice, but I mean, it's a start,
What y'all get?
It is I don't have it with me downstairs, but basically it's a nice little box. You open it up and it's got like a encased ticket. And when you
that's right. I saw that.
Yeah, it's not bad looking. I mean,
it's I hate to make this about me, Pork Rind, but I'm glad you brought that up. This is my season ticket holder gift right here. I got
we don't care. We're trying to talk about
I got some
football.
I know I got some.
Oh, you got your Pepsi cup? You got your Pepsi cup to get your Pepsi in?
Yep, collect the whole set. and I got a poster. I got some stuff to buy some wine.
So, anyways, now that we're done talking about what he got as a gift back from the Giants, there was one more football game that ended out the weekend. Two more actually.
We don't want to hear about y'all win
because Monday night there was a doubleheader of sorts. I can't stand that they're doing.
They need to stop that.
Is that the last week for that?
Yeah, huh?
Is that the last week for that, or is there?
No, that's the first week of that, isn't it? Or
second?
Second week. Yeah, they did that last week.
Yeah, so they're going to do it a few more times, I think. But anyways, the Eagles went into Tampa Bay, where they have not beaten the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in over 10 years, and beat them. And since nobody will ask me what happened, I will tell you that our offense is not where it's supposed to be yet.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. But the defensive line absolutely is.
You got a safety.
That I tell you, when he made that interception, and that interception was a great interception by them. I mean, I keep looking at the replay, and I can't see where he has the first foot down that they called it like that. Or maybe they chose not to challenge it. I think, which is probably more what happened because of where they were at, and they just trusted the defense. But, I mean, you knew that safety was coming. There was no doubt in my mind. I was on the other side, literally the entire other side of the thing. And when they lined up for that play, I'm like, he's not sneaking that. He's going to hand that ball off. They ain't getting out of the end zone. There's no way.
Yeah.
And I had my hands up like this before the play, just as the play started. I'm like, that's a safety. There was just no way that they were going to get at, they just were going to get crushed in that play. And, when you run the ball for 200 yards a game, you're going to win most of your games. That's all I can say. Our offensive line and our defensive line is carrying the team right now. So
Well,
the only thing I feel like is injuries.
That has to make you feel pretty good. I mean, the fact that you guys aren't even playing good football, but still winning.
Still winning, yeah.
I mean,
I kind of like it.
It's kind of a double-edged sword because it can either catch up to you or you're gonna hit your spark and then take off. You know,
right? That I don't mind being in early season form, and that's what I feel like we are. I feel like we're in early season form. This is a Super Bowl team. I mean, unfortunately, you guys have to almost call it what it is a little bit. This is a Super Bowl caliber team here, and they're winning games and not clicking on all cylinders. You know, when everything does start to click, which I figure is going to start to have to happen by week 7, because I think that matchup with the Dolphins could wind up being who is going to be the team that remains undefeated. Yeah, I know that we play up against you, Pork Rind, this week, and I know that you probably think you guys have a chance. And any given Sunday, they can't look past anybody. They cannot look past anybody because they're not playing well enough. They're not playing Super Bowl caliber now. But they have some work to do. And Jalen Hurts is, like I said, that one interception. Every time I pulled my phone out at this game, something bad happened. So I put my phone away for a lot of the game, but I actually have a great picture and view of that interception. Yeah, I'm like, really? This is the play I'm recording? I'm like recording this play because I figured they're going to score a touchdown right at me. And he made that cut, and the other guy went gone. And really, if the guy was any bit faster, he should have scored a touchdown. He really wussed out a little bit. Whoever had caught it for the Buccaneers.
Oh,
he ran right out of bounds, like 20 yards up but there was still nobody within 5 yards of him. He could have cut up or whatever. He just ran right out of bounds. So it was, kind of lucky on our part because it didn't really hurt us any. But
I mean, and the fact that Hurts threw 2 picks, I'm looking at his stat line right now, and y'all still won.
Yep.
I mean,
with a scoregami, by the way. Not that anybody really cares about that type of stuff, but the score 25-11 has never happened in the NFL until this week.
Oh,
it was a pretty weird score.
Yeah, exactly. All those people who bought the box scores things were very happy at 5-1.
Finally, somebody.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, damn it! What kind of scores? They thought they were going to lose it, but So, but yeah, that's. I am. See, to have a win like Miami did, like I said, do you start sniffing yourself? I kind of feel that was a little bit what the Cowboys did. They started sniffing themselves. I don't think Washington won any game strong enough to be able to start to sniff themselves. But, I feel like that's a little bit of what happened to you guys, that you guys may have been looking past Arizona thinking that you're going to walk through them, and you didn't.
Yes and no. I think it was more of a I know they were looking past Arizona. I knew that in week 2 win, and I could see somewhat of it when I walked onto the field, being how many Cowboy fans were there. I mean, there were so many Cowboy fans, but they can sense it too, and they just they just got outcoached on both sides of the ball. That's what it came down to.
Don't look past New England either.
No, I'm not. I never look past any opponent. I never look past any opponent. Now them, I don't know, but the way the coaching staff was this week, it was just horrid. And I'm going to tell you, the special teams coach, seeing his actions on the side, it was, he was getting in heated exchanges with his personnel, and it just didn't make any sense. Don't get mad at the personnel. Get mad at the players on the field. Those are the ones that are out there, causing this havoc, regardless of what's going on the sideline. And it just on the defensive side of the ball again, it was bad all the way around, bad coaching all the way around. And yes, Dak Prescott. I read one of the Adam Cease's comment from earlier. Yes, people are already calling for Trey Lance, and it's ridiculous. I'm just
be careful what you wish for in that regard.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll have Justin Fields 2.0, and that's the thing,
If you're lucky.
He just didn't. I could see going into this game that Dak Prescott didn't have the confidence on the sideline that he usually does. Entering the second quarter, it was the 3 and outs that I was just like, "What are we doing, guys? You can move it between the 20s, but you can't move it after that." It just didn't make any sense, and the run play selection, it was just horrid. But again, it drops back to those tight ends. Had those tight ends
on
did their
McCarthy.
job.
You said it yourself. It's on McCarthy.
Yeah,
he's the one calling the plays now, so it's what it is.
And that's exactly it. You want to be exposed, you just expose yourself.
And
now you're gonna have to do a better job.
I mean, we're going to start talking about the game, so obviously, but I think that this game is monster. It's almost a must-win. Because
I don't feel that way coming into this New England game, but I what I do see is I do see it a monster game for the coaching staff. I see it more on them than I do the team. So being the play selections that I saw last week, again on the defensive side of the ball and on the offense, it's going to be on the coaching staff this week. You have the players to do it. Now let's do it. If you don't, well, we know who to blame.
There you go. So here we are. We are at the pick selections
already.
Yeah, so it's last week I think I got them all right. No, that's actually not true. I actually said that I thought the Cowboys would win a game, but it would be a lot closer than expected. And I actually hoped that the Giants would upset the 49ers. I thought that they actually would have some thing. So I was not all right. But this week I will be. Anyways, we're going to start with the very first game on Sunday. The Washington Commanders are coming into Philadelphia. And the over-under is 43.5. And the line is 8.
I'll go first, okay? Eagles 43-0, okay?
Oh, my God. Please, so I can stop seeing – go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I seriously think Eagles. I think this might be the week where your offense does start to click. I'm just not confident in our offensive line. I think Sam will probably get sacked 12 or 13 times this week. Yeah, I mean he's on pace for 107 sacks. So,
oh jeez.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I think. I could maybe see a score of 17 points, but I think it'll probably be a 42-17 game. I don't have very much confidence this week. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but from what I saw last week, I wasn't very impressed. So we'll see.
I hear you. However, I'm going to give your team a little bit more credit. It's like Washington, for some reason or another, like every time they play the Eagles, something like life-threatening is happening to your coach, and all of a sudden they play out of their minds.
Yeah.
It seems like every win that you guys have has something to do with the fact that – so I kind of expect that he's going to have like the miniest of strokes. Like it's.
I hope not.
Like this, he's going to have like a really bad case of indigestion, really, and they're going to try to play out of their mind for him. For some reason or another, like you guys look at us as a measuring stick of sorts, and not that I think that you guys are going to win. I don't think you guys have any chance of winning, but it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a big fight. And I think that Eric Bieniemy is going to be able to do some things against us and, out-coach our defensive coordinator a little bit. I think that our defense is too strong and ultimately it's going to prevail. But And I know that your defensive line is good. Like when you go up against an offensive line like ours, you're going to try to get manhandled. And we've been relying so much on the run right now that if they decide that they're not going to be playing up to what they need to, then we're going to run right over you, and it's going to really hurt, and then I agree with your score, but I think that they're going to come to play. And if those 4 guys or 6 guys that you guys rotate in come to play, it's going to be a much closer game. I don't think you guys cover, but I don't think it's 42-17. I actually have it more like, yeah, I got it like 31-17. You know what I mean? It's still, I agree with you on the 17 points that's the most you'll get. You may only get 14. You may only get 13, really. 13 is probably the better number there. But I see us scoring some points, but it not being so out of the realm. I think we maybe score a defensive touchdown too. Oh. So like 3 touchdowns, a field goal for the offense, and 7 points from the defense. And you got your 31-13 score. You guys?
I will say that I'm going to agree with Pork Ryan. I'm sorry. I want y'all to lose 43-0, so I don't have to hear anything else about the 40-0 on week 1. So that's the only reason why. If other than that, I would have picked 40-0, but we lost. That's already been taken. So go ahead, Drew.
I'm gonna agree with Philly. It unless something occurs to put a fire under the Commanders, it's still hard to say. Under the Commanders, I don't see them going into Philly and knocking them down. It's not going to be a shootout, but I don't think it's going to be close either. I just think, Philly's going to win by at least 2 scores. And I'll put it around the same score, 31-12. Just 4 field goals.
You're giving our kicker way too much credit.
There we go. All right. So that being said, the next game on the docket is at 4:25, and we have the New England Patriots coming into Dallas, and it is again the over/under is 43.5, and it's a 7-point spread this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over on this one. I think we're gonna snap back from what we did there in Arizona. I think we're actually going to do something in the red zone this time. I think we're going to go more than 1 for 5. I think we're going to have a couple of scores passing. I think Dak Prescott's going to have 2 passing, 2 rushing. So right there we have 28 points, and we can't forget the field goal kicker. He's getting at least 3 scores alone. So, I'm going to put it around maybe a score of 33-21. Our defense is going to have to step up. Bland's going to have to step up out there in that secondary, being moved over to that corner position. The way our secondary was playing last weekend towards the end of the game with that big pass, it just, again, falls on coaching. But I'm going to take the Cowboys here with the over. So we'll see.
And you have them beating them by like you're scoring 31, 34 points at least, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing, and a couple of field goals.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys bounce back this week, playing in Dallas too. I think Dak has a much better game. I see it going 27-17. But yeah, I think Dallas has a rebound game, and playing at home in front of the fans, I don't see Patriots pulling it off.
I do want to mention one other thing too. This is Bill Belichick's his persona. What he usually does, picks up X players off of X teams that he's going to face. So even though he picked up quarterback Will Grier, I think it was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, I guarantee after this game he's going to drop him. Just trying to get some insight. Here's a $200,000 check. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Take it and go. I'm thinking the Patriots are going to pull an upset. I'm gonna say they're gonna break even. It's gonna be 23-20 Patriots. Dak's gonna throw a pick, and the Dak haters will rise again, and will want Trey Lance after Belichick kicks the winning field goal. Belichick, not the field goal kicker. Belichick kicks the winning field goal.
So I actually, I'm going to side more with Sneaky here. Rather, I'm going to actually go against everything that you're saying. I think that the one thing New England's got is a good defense. I don't think they can score points, but they do have a really good defense. And I think that you guys haven't been able to finish drives all season long so far. And until you guys start to prove to me that you can finish these drives without kicking field goals, I'm not going to trust that you are. And at the moment, I think that you guys are going to. I think I look at this as an upset game, and it's funny that I'm going to pick like 18-17, and they're going to kick like 6 field goals, or like a 19-18 game where you guys kick like 6 field goals. You know what I mean? Because you guys can't seem to score it, you can't seem to get it in the end zone, and I think that their defense is strong enough to keep you out of the end zone. And I think that that's where, like Mac Jones, this is going to be the game that kind of solidifies Mac Jones for next year. That he's going to be the quarterback where they're not going to call for anybody there, but they're going to still be pointing fingers in Dallas. So I maybe if they scored differently, I'm like 21. Maybe they scored 3 touchdowns, but I don't think that New England's that good, and I think that they're going to have to kick field goals to win this game. But like 20-17 or 20-18, where you guys kick a lot of field goals, and that's how that game ends. And then, so that's it. Yeah, there's no other games that happen. Oh, that's right. There's a Monday night game, just one this week. One Monday night game where Seattle Seahawks come all the way across the country to
and that is a long flight too, by the way.
Yeah.
To MetLife Stadium, where they will go up against the Giants, and it is a pick'em game, and the over under at 47.5.
And I got Giants at 2-point favorites. What do you got them at?
I got them at even.
I got them at a pick'em.
Oh, at a pick'em.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. No brainer. I'm picking the Giants. I think this will be a game that the defense, they got called out. They got called out this week on their intensity, and I think they're going to bounce back. I think we took steps and finally got our first 2 sacks Thursday night of the season. So I think we're gonna kind of grab that momentum and get the sacks and maybe even get a couple picks, a couple turnovers, because we have yet to get our first turnover. And it's going to be one of those funky games. I'll say like a 23-27 Giants game. I'll go over. It's going to be one of those weird ones. That's kind of what I'm saying. And I'm thinking Jones is going to step up and again, Barkley's going to be back and he's going to get a rushing touchdown as well.
Hopes and dreams. I'll go.
At this point, that's all I got right now.
I think that this is, that you're actually in a bad spot here. I think Seattle comes in and actually beats you guys. And I think that I don't think Seattle's that good. I just think that you guys are in a little bit of disarray. And I think that's going to be the fight. You guys are fighting yourselves here a lot more than fighting against the team. And so my expectation is that you guys are going to go down here. And I think it's going to be 27, but you guys are going to be in that 17, maybe 13 range. You know what I mean? That you guys are, again, not going to be able to, maybe 16. Yeah, 27-16. Again, like you guys will make some drives. You'll get in the field goal range and kick field goals, but not score touchdowns a lot.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Philly on this. I think the Seahawks have been playing just a little bit better. I don't see them over. I mean, I don't see them getting over anybody, the way they did last week. But I do see, there is disarray within the Giants organization, and you can see it on the sidelines and the frustration that the coach is having with his staff. And it's not frustration with the players, it's frustration with the staff. So there's something going on there. You can see it plain as day. But yeah, I'm going to give it to the Seahawks, and it's not going to be a high scoring game, but the Giants are going to score, a couple touchdowns and a field goal, but that's probably all I see them doing against the Seahawks. And the Seahawks really aren't going to do much more than that. They'll probably have 24, so it'll be a 1-point game or a 1-point score game. So I'll give it 24-17, Seahawks.
So I think the Giants, they start out slow. I mean, they're coming off of a Thursday night game, playing Monday night, so
that's a good rest.
Yeah, so I think they start out slow, but with the Seahawks traveling all the way from the West Coast, typically West Coast teams don't play well. So I think Giants, like I said, they start out slow, but I think they get it together after that butt chewing that they're going to get in halftime. And I think they end up pulling it off 27-17. I think Giants bounce back, man.
I'm sorry what I said about your Commanders.
It's okay.
All right. And there we have it, guys. We have gone a little over the hour, which we seem to do here on occasion. So thank you for staying with us. We will be back again next week. So hopefully, my team wins and, we stay undefeated, and I don't care what happens to really any of these other teams, especially since, Washington, I need them to definitely lose. But, we will get back at it again next week and talk about what happened next week.
Yeah,
let's do it. I'm down. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Exactly. So everybody have a great week. And as always,
Hell to the Redskins.
Go Birds.
Ow!
Hell to the Redskins.
I see what you did there.